I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're uncovering the extraordinary life of Michael Sandos, author of You, Me, and Uncle Mike. This captivating tale follows his incredible journey from childhood sports champion to martial arts master, U.S. Naval veteran, and world skydiving champion, all while chasing the American dream. If you're inspired by resilience, innovation, and groundbreaking achievements, this is an interview. This is a book you won't want to miss. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below the interview. Mike, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here.
You are an all-American hero, naval veteran, martial arts champ, skydiving champ. I mean, you've done what most guys dream about doing. What is it about you that you had a dream, had a vision, and made it happen when most people just daydream about it and don't put roots under their plans?
Well, I think the word is family. I had the support of my family and everything I did, and not only support with them, participation with them as well. But yeah, I think that's the best answer for that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about the title of your book, You, Me, and Uncle Mike. Talk to us about that.
The reason I went that way is because regardless of who was saying it, you, me, and Uncle Mike, it all changed. So I like talking about how everything in life, it's the same thing, but only different. So whether it's mom, dad, whether it's Mr. or Mrs., whether it's Carol and John, it's the same thing, but only different. And when mom says, honey, she could be talking to dad, to you, to the daughter, to anybody. So it's always the same thing, but only different. So it's very important to understand that when you're looking at and going through my book, just because of the fact that when we're talking about money, as an example, which this book is directed toward. And the thing is that when you're talking about simple interest, compound interest, there's so many different things that we take for granted and think they're the same thing, but they're really not.
Yep. Talk to us a little bit about your childhood. You grew up in Denver, Colorado?
Yes. Yes, I grew up in Denver, Colorado. Played sports there. And the funny part was when I played football, no one explained to me what the rules were. But the thing is so I was out there along the line and the ball came across and fumbled. And so I caught it. And I looked across and I seen all of these guys. And so I said, I ain't going that way. I went the other way because there wasn't nobody that would hit me. And I looked over the sideline and there's my pregnant mother running down the sideline saying, go the other way, go the other way. So my life was full of things like that where I had family participation, but yet we went through the confusions. But yeah, and then I went on there. I went to a college preparatory school and on scholarship, and it was a boys' school. But the point being is that I was, a city and state champion in wrestling, played in varsity football when I was a freshman. And so it was wonderful because it prepared me for college.
Martial arts apparently prepared you for college and beyond and for life, I'd imagine. Tell us about your journey there.
Well, I started in the martial arts at about 7 years old. And the thing is that as I progressed in it, I went to China representing the United States, went to Japan representing the United States at 16. One of the things that in the martial arts, I wanted to find out which one was the best. And they said, people would say, okay, the Taekwondo, the Tang Soo Do, the Japanese karate, so all of these different hard systems. And I got into seeing which was which, and I ended up in a Chinese system, a Kung Fu system, and it was a softer system, not the hard system. And as I went through that, I found out that, and I learned so many things. I went to China again and represented my system, our schools, and in what we call Kajukembo, the BO was regular boxing. And when I went to China, I ended up going there representing us for Chinese boxing. And the Chinese boxing is Gong Fu. Gong Fu and Kung Fu is the Chinese boxing. So when I learned from all of the masters and grandmasters, we joined spirits there. And I came back to the US carrying all of this knowledge. As I went on, and to this very day, I teach all around the world, and they bring me to their cities and their schools and countries, because the countries are smaller than our cities, some of them. And as I went through, I became a master and a grandmaster. I ran my master school for 32 years. I invented the Kajukembo, or the KOA, Kajukembo Ohana Association, and Ohanami family. And in doing that, it's one of those that, as the inventor or the founder, I went into what is called the Chinese Kung Fu combative arts. So combative Kung Fu. I ended up teaching all around. I taught in the Navy. And so it was just one of those life structures that was involved in my life the whole way, and to this very day still is. But it taught you all of the focusing, all the dedication to be able to really follow your dreams in your life and make them happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also keeps you in tremendous shape. I mean, the martial arts are just a great workout as well, as far as flexibility goes and strength and so forth. Talk to us a little bit about your service as a U.S. Naval veteran.
Well, that is quite fun and interesting. A lot of people in the service, they say, "Oh, would you do this again?" And a lot would say, "No." Me, I said, "Yes, by all means." I worked with, in my first rating, and that's the rating like if you're a yeoman, which is an accountant or something. I was first a jet mechanic, an AMP, airframes and power plants. And so I checked and worked with all types of aircraft. And again, working with pilots of every sort. And then I got checked out in the seat and in the pilot seat as well. And so I flew as well as I was building and fixing airplanes. And then again, going to Vietnam and working with the Navy SEALs, which was a underwater demolition team. And they call them BUDS. Back in those days, it was brand new. So the SEALs really hadn't developed yet. And so we were the foundation. Back then we were using wetsuits and a hose and that type of thing with the headgear. And then as we progressed, we started using the tank, and then we used rebreathers so that we can get in and out. And because of my martial arts experience and that, I had some unique skills. And so the military took advantage of those in teaching the Navy.
Amazing, amazing. Now you've added another notch to this story, which is you're also a diver, underwater diver, which I think is amazing, and a skydiver. So you weren't just repairing these planes, building these planes, and flying these planes. You were jumping out of planes as well. Tell us about your role as a skydiver, champ.
Well, as skydiving, I skydived all around the world. The thing is that skydiving just was incredible. I loved anything in the air. I loved anything with water, whether it be snow, ice on the mountains or whatever. But skydiving was quite unique because without an airplane, without any wings, you could go 185 to 200 miles an hour toward the ground, which is, tremendously exciting. Punching clouds, big cumulus nimbus clouds, and you're coming about 180 miles an hour and you hit the top of them. It's whoa. And then you go through them and it's really moist and quiet. And I used to like to open my parachute while I was in the cloud. So when you came out the bottom, you're hanging there and it looks like you're flying the cloud. I had about 1,680 jumps. And the thing is that I jumped off airplanes, helicopters, buildings, bridges, anything that I could get to. And I think that's really what made that expansion, if you may, of where it didn't matter whether you were on a mountain jumping off or whether like El Capitan down in California, or whether it be off of a bridge in Colorado. It was just all types of things that was very exciting. And so many times, sometimes the airplane would give up. and we'd already be out, and we'd have to speed up and catch the airplane, get back in to get the other guys out, and then the airplane would catch up and go again, and then a few minutes later it would drop again. So it was quite exciting. I mean, very challenging type of thing. We made stars, 44 people holding hands in a big circle, called relative work. And naturally, we were the fastest team. They judge it from the time you get out of the airplane to the time you make the star. And so relative work was absolutely amazing to me. I really enjoyed that. And I, being who I am, sometimes you get in and somebody would fly over the top and hit somebody and they'd knock them out and they'd tumble and tumble. Many times I'd see that. I'd race over the star, catch the person and pull the ripcord for them. So they'd open, because they were unconscious. They would go down and hit the side of a farmhouse on the roof, the parachute pulling them over the top, and wham, slam them on the ground, and then keep pulling them, and they'd pull them into the fence, a barbed wire fence. I got down there, come running over, he's barely waking up saying, "What happened?" He didn't recall anything. So
Amazing.
it's things like that I was able and enjoyed being part of.
You know, Mike, I think your book should come with a Mike Sandos action figure. So we can play along as we're reading the book. We'll jump out of planes, we'll cut other people's parachutes loose, and you know, it's pretty amazing stories.
Yeah, I enjoyed
really
them all.
Let me add to it. Hang gliding expert. Tell us about your role there. That's pretty amazing too.
Hang gliding was just another. It's a slower air jump, air position, but it was absolutely amazing where you can go back up, not just going down. And when I flew hang gliders, wing gliders. I flew just about everything, but the thing is that was wonderful because you could fly over the mountains. Many times I was flying here in Utah over the largest mountains here, and here comes a 747, and all of the people looking out the windows waving because you're that close. And I waving back, and that type of thing was incredible. Go over the mountain a little further down the ridge, and all of a sudden, here comes the eagle. And you get a big mama, big female eagle. She pulls right up underneath you. I mean, right here, and you see her eye flashing, and she's right here, and she drops. So I drop. She raises, I raise. So she circles, I circle. She then goes back and gets to the fledglings, her baby birds, and comes back over. And all of them are right here underneath my wing. And she pulls off, I pull off with the fledglings following them, and she leads me all the way down the ridge to where she pulls over where normally I wouldn't go because, there was no air there, and there's thermals rising, and she'd lead me right there with her fledglings because she trusted me. And I would go up and fly with those fledglings over mountain, and down the whole ridge. We'd go from Salt Lake City all the way down to Idaho. Sometimes all the way back to Wyoming. So we did a lot of cross country stuff as well. But one time my glider, the pins popped off. So my glider was ready to fold up. So I pulled and opened my parachute. The first one that I opened my parachute. So the glider came down to my side, the parachute went up, and you can't control the parachute. So I used the glider as a rudder and went down and kicked it out and landed. It's very safe. And so then many of the pilots said, "Oh my God," and I would pull their parachute down and they would panic. And I said, "How do you know that there isn't mouse or two inside that, cuddled up inside that nice nylon?" And I said, "Let me show you how to repack this parachute. You should check your parachute just to make sure you got one in there." But I used to have fun with the other pilots.
Amazing. Mike, your stories are absolutely unbelievable, but they're true. We see people like you in movies and we can't believe it. You're played by people like James Craig or Pierce Brosnan, and you're the real deal. Those guys are actors. They got guys like you doing the stunts. And it's an amazing book you've put together. The name of the book is You, Me, and Uncle Mike. And Mike has got a bunch more stories. Read about them in the book, including inventing the Velcro locking wallet and
Yes.
many, many more amazing aspects to this man's life. This book is a captivating tale that follows his journey from childhood sports champ to martial arts master to U.S. naval veteran to world skydiving champ, all while chasing the American dream. It's a great story. It's a life well led, well lived, and intriguing and interesting as well. Mike, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your service, sir. For the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on
Yeah,
Spotlight.
I hope so. I've got another book coming out that is following you, me, and Uncle Mike to the next step. And I think people would just be amazed with that because it takes them all the way through all ends of life, I think. So
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mike.
thank you.